Today is Cage's episode. So I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch.
Hey now.
That was an epic comeback by the Yankees. Cage is a huge Yankees fan. Cage was also the type of guy, as you get to know him, he loves low expectations.
That's right.
So before the season, he thinks the Raiders suck, Yankees are terrible, Judge has got a contract, all that stuff. But, dude, they're playing incredible. Judge hit home run number 60. I was thinking about you today because I think you should be going to these games. I think you should be sitting in the outfield catching balls.
Funny. I had tickets for tomorrow night's game, but I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Yankees, first of all, the pitching is just, it's unbearable to watch. Second of all,
he does this all the time. He does this in business too. He loves low expectations. You don't want to be disappointed.
Well, that's one, but the Yankees are a disappointment anyway, just because I live nowhere near their stadium. Nowhere near. So to get there and go and deal with that and get home, it legit is like a 7-hour experience and not a really fun one. During the game, it's fun. I enjoy it. But listen, TV has gotten to a point where I could just sit and watch TV. I got my own bathroom. But I wasn't. First of all, my tickets were in the Delta Sky Suite, which is behind home plate, but up in the nosebleeds, basically. It's like 300 levels. So it's not exactly great seats, and it's inside. It's like suite level. I'm definitely not catching a home run because it's in fair territory, behind home plate. So, foul territory, I guess you would say. But yeah, man, I mean, it's no, not going to play. I'd rather just watch it on TV. And it's the Yankees Red Sox too, but it's meaningless because the Red Sox have a losing record.
Does he have a chance? Can he break the record?
Oh, of course he has a chance. Well, because listen, he has 60 and he needs 14. There's 15 games. But think about it that way. That sounds like a lot. But if you go back 2 games ago, right, he only had 17 games, right? And he needed 17 home runs in 17 games. Now he's gotten 3 in the last 2 games. So it's easier. He hit 2 on Sunday and he hit 1 yesterday, So I would tell you it sounds ridiculous. And if you told me, hey, he needs 17 home runs in his last 17 games or, whatever the hell it was, 15 and 17, 17 and 17, he's not going to do it. But now it's 14 and 15. The guy can get hot.
And he's going up there and he's swinging for the fences. At this point, like, he has the go signal.
Listen, Bonds, I can't say like, wow, he would have a chance to get Bonds because – people aren't pitching to him because they know no one wants to give out that big home run. But no one's pitching up Bonds either when he hit 73. Like, Bonds could hit 100 that year. He was walked more times than, like, some teams were walked. And Judge has been walked. I'll tell you what has helped his run here. The fact the team's playing terrible. You're going to get a pitch to hit when your team is down 8-4 in the 9th inning. The pitcher wants to get out of there. They're going to try to get you out, and he's not going to walk you. You don't mind. Judge comes up to lead off an inning. Normally, you're walking him. You know what I mean? Unless it's a 1-run game or what. But you're up.
That is weird, by the way. For all you guys like me that aren't baseball guys, Judge bats first in the lineup. He's on the verge of setting the home run record, and he's the leadoff hitter, right?
He has moved around a little. He was usually the 2, but they've moved him to leadoff this year. Yes, he's moved to leadoff. He also has played center field primarily this year, which is not his natural position. If the Yankees really want to negotiate against him, they did everything wrong. The guy's going to be basically a full-time center fielder, looking for center field money, which is like the most important outfield position. Starting center fielders get paid, and he played it well. He's got a cannon.
Starting center fielders all get injured, and he's a big boy. Like, I don't see him as a center fielder.
What's funny is he hasn't been injured this year. Playing center field. Right field, he gets injured, diving and breaking his ribs or doing whatever the hell it is. Listen, I enjoyed watching the season. I will say this. I'm flabbergasted by the amount of money people are talking about for this home run ball. Darren Rovell wrote an article. I love Darren Rovell, but the upside for the home run ball that he just hit was $20 million. First of all, 60th home run doesn't mean shit. It ties you in 2nd place in the American League and I think 9th place overall in seasons for home runs in baseball history. Sammy Sosa has 3 seasons with more home runs than this. So you tell me why that's a $5 million, $1 million,
New York.
Still,
but that's not the number I heard. I heard like 800K.
Okay, and the next one, so 61, the one that ties Maris and doesn't really do anything. 62, we're talking. I think it's crazy that people would be. I think it's just for press and bloviating and the whole deal. Now he goes out there.
That's not a word.
Bloviating? Yes, it is.
That's
Trust me, it's a word.
English is not your first language.
Subloviate. It's like puffery. It's, to be... anyway, you can look it up. 74 is would be monumental, right? But even 74, just like 73 and just like 70 before it, it's not a record that can't be broken. It's like buying the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar all-time record basketball points scored on collectible.
I would say $5 million. $5 million is where I put that.
That's
ball.
Insane. That's insane.
No.
That's
no
nuts,
way.
dude. $5 million. It's nuts.
I think you don't understand how much money is in the system. Dude.
I guess that's part of it. I mean, to me, it's just silly.
Okay. Let me give you some numbers.
Yeah,
because do you know what the last Bonds ball sold for?
No. How much?
I'm gonna find that out for you. But dude, so much money has been printed into the system. I think it's over 40% of the entire supply of the money in the system has been created in the last 24 months. So we hear these numbers like $5 million.
All right, I get you. So you're saying it's not worth what it was worth by comparison. I get it, but still,
correct.
60 means nothing. 61, okay, 61's a number. It ties in with Maris. 62, most ever hit in the American League and most ever hit by a Yankee. I get it. It's got some value to it in the whole 9 yards, but still, it's not
73 was sold for $517,000.
Right, and that's the record of all time. Like, you can tell me if he hits 74, first of all, that makes the Bonds one worth even less because it's now 2001.
That's in 2001. We have data guys like Pancake Analytics. Brilliant, man.
Is it 10x the money? 10x.
He could do those numbers. I'm not sure, but
all right. Let me switch gears for a second. Right, the media coverage on the home run from yesterday.
Luka Doncic cards sold for $4.6 million.
Yeah,
that wasn't selling for that much in 2001.
I don't trust that it actually sold. It wasn't selling for that much in 2001.
Right?
He wasn't alive. No, but here's the thing, right? So
exquisite boxes were $500.
Listen, pivot with me. You're right. It's going to sell for $3 trillion. It's great. It's a great baseball. Everyone should want it. I haven't seen anybody yet say, nice job by the kid who caught the ball and gave it back to Aaron Judge. What I've heard is, you just gave up a 6-figure payday. What's wrong with you? You gave this up for a picture. I saw, everybody like, this is ridiculous. What's wrong with this guy? And, he and his pals and whatnot were like, look, we're Yankee fans. Judge should have it. Should the Yankees do more when it doesn't cost them as much? The Yankees give him maybe season tickets for the seat that he was sitting in next year. If there's not already a season ticket owner that holds it, or find one near it, that doesn't cost him anything. It's bleacher seats, a couple $1,000s. Yeah, they should offer that up. Not just, here's an autograph or a picture of the whole deal. But I'm going to take it a different way. Why are we skewering people for doing the right thing? Now, I understand, like, he could have held out, he could have made money, and it's life-changing. But you ever think maybe that he'll be paid a different way? You ever think that now maybe someone like me, but who actually has a platform beyond the couple of thousand of you that are listening to me right now, sees this and is like, you know what? I'm going to put him on the Today Show. I'm going to have him on NBC. Maybe Oprah. I don't know who to compare, but maybe the good deed gets picked up and he does the right thing and gets rewarded more for it. Like, if you're a listener of this and you're hearing this and you have the means to do that, if you happen to be, we have people on TV, Kevin Negande, you want to bring this kid on ESPN, sure. You could reach out to him, Andrew, and see if he wants to be on our podcast. That's goodwill right there that he's earned. Why the hell not?
The kid that gave the ball back?
The kid who caught the ball and gave it back. We can ask him why.
I just need a name.
I'll get his name.
Tell me the name, and I'll get you his name.
But why is no one saying that? Why is nobody saying, maybe I'm smoking the wacky weedest, maybe I'm smoking what Andrew's smoking, and the Cleveland Browns are smoking on the sidelines. We can talk about that too.
Wait, for real?
Oh, dude, I could send you a picture. I was gonna make a meme about this. There's this thing going around with the Browns. No, they have Ziploc bags full of weed on the side. It's the funny. I can't tell you it's weed. They could have very big pizza parties at the end of the game. Salad. It could be oregano.
It'd be like salad from the office.
Could be sage. Maybe Kyrie is going to get traded to the Browns. I don't know what exactly it is, but I could be smoking whatever's in that bag and be the only
Michael Scott
idiot
tries
here.
to set up Toby with
yes.
That's what I thought. Okay, right.
I could be the only idiot in the world that thinks
so you think
everybody wants to pay that. Well,
you think it's a good deed.
What's funny is you can't say what you would do until you're in somebody else's shoes, and I don't know what I would do. Right? If faced with somebody right now saying give me the money, or Ken Golden, I happen to know Ken, right? So I probably would call Ken and say, how much does this sell for on the open market, or Heritage, or PWCC is now doing memorabilia soon, right? So I was like, what do you think this goes for? And you get an estimate, and then you have to weigh it, right? I might have asked the Yankees for a little bit more. Who knows? I don't know what I would do, but I don't get the fact that everybody's out there going, this kid's a fool, right? This kid should have held out for, congratulations, you just gave up a 6-figure payday for a picture with Aaron Judge. Like, I saw those tweets from people with blue check marks, people we know, people I think you and I have spoken to are skewering this kid. Instead, why not skewer him? Why say, okay, I understand this, but I also understand the other side, right? Why not say, I'm not talking about Darren Ravel, by the way. I didn't see him skewer him. I'm talking about other people. Ravel gave like an article about the valuation of these balls. He didn't attack the kid that I saw, but people have. And I get it. I understand. It makes for a cool headline. It talks about like the value of it, and it gets you thinking exactly what we're doing. But I took it the other way. I haven't seen anybody do this. Like maybe he gets to do the good deed, and some way gets rewarded for it fiscally also. I don't know how that happens, but maybe it does.
Where my mind goes is, what's a good deed anymore, right? Like we used to have like the heroes. Like, what is a good deed? I think we have become a very like capitalistic society where everything is like, how do we get a score or payday?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you.
But I will go the other direction. Like, money just allows you to have experiences and memories and opportunities too. Like having season tickets, he could bring his family to games. So, right, we think about money, but we don't think about what it could allow him to do.
And I mean, that's got a value to him that costs the Yankees less than what the value is to him. Maybe some other autographs, like maybe Judge, I think they gave him a bat. Maybe Judge has some off-season thing where the kid gets invited to and he gets to meet a whole bunch of Yankees. Like, you can't negotiate that right then and there, but maybe Judge does the right thing. If Judge gets to keep all these balls and, when maybe it happens, when the people who catch 61 and 62 tell Judge to go screw. And they say, no, Judge, this thing's worth $1 million. I'm selling it. And Judge is like, no, I'll give you an autographed bat. And they're like, well, I'm not as stupid as the kid before. No, I'm not doing it. Maybe then the kid gets appreciated by the person he's doing the favor for. It's never really the way that it works, right? We talk about this, right? The favor's going up the flagpole and never really down. People are nice on the way up. People aren't nice to the people below them. They step on the people below them. So it's a fun thing to watch because he's universally getting panned for this.
We're in such an interesting culture because like that might have happened 30 years ago. And no one even knew about it maybe till like the newspaper comes out like a day and a half later, Yeah. We're like the whole men in the arena culture. Like everyone has their own takes. I don't know. It's kind of irrelevant. We don't know that person's financial position. We don't know their life. We don't know their opportunities,
You know what's
funny? I think people speak from their own where they are now, and they're like, I would love that $600K, but maybe that kid is well off and he's happy as he's ever been, and he doesn't need for money.
Who never got celebrated like this? Roger Maris. By the way,
that's like 1950 or like
it was 1961. It's an easy year to remember because he hit 61 home runs.
Sure,
61 and 61. It's an easy year. 61. But he was chasing Babe Ruth, and believe it or not, the Yankee fans didn't want to see it broken. They wanted Ruth's record to remain Ruth's record, and it was one of those records that even Yankee fans didn't want to see a Yankee break. As a matter of fact, when he was hitting 60 and 61,
he was from Cleveland. He played for Cleveland.
Yeah, he played for the Indians. Nice, there you go. But what I want to tell you is the stadium for those home runs was half full. People didn't even go. No fanfare, no game stoppage. Yogi Berra met him at the plate and gave him a little high five, and that's it, 60 done. If you take a look at what was going on for Maris hitting 60 as opposed to Judge, I mean, first of all, it talks about how Judge is here. Second of all, obviously, the home run record is not a Yankee record anymore. The American League one is, but okay. And third, the value of memorabilia. Right, 1961. They know who caught the ball. Like, there's pictures of them all over the internet today. They're doing a side by side. Here's the guy who caught the Aaron Judge ball, and here's the guy who caught the Maris ball. Right, and there's pictures of him. I think he's got like a pack of cigarettes in his white T-shirt rolled up in his sleeve. Looks like he looks like one of the T-Birds.
John Travolta from Greece.
And the T-Birds. Good job, John Travolta. T-Birds is John Travolta's. Hey, nice job. We're on the same wavelength there. But
that's a great movie, by the way. That West Side Story, they made us watch that in high school. Those are cool. That's what high school should be.
It's a huge difference, right? Of look how far this asset class has come. Just like cards, back then people were saving cards and paying millions of dollars for cards either. It's a funny and interesting thing. But yeah, Yankees, I have no faith in the Yankees at all because the pitching is what gets you there.
And we're back to it.
Max Scherzer had 6 perfect innings yesterday. I mean, the Mets, if DeGrom and Scherzer go, I would love to see that Dodgers-Mets series. That's going to be a lot of fun if that's what happens. But baseball is an interesting thing.
That would be first round?
No, because they're both division leaders right now, and the Dodgers would have like home field advantage throughout because they're having a historic season. I mean, they're going to win 112 games. They're going to win like a crazy amount of games.
Do you think MLB is doing enough?
No, I don't think they're ever doing enough. They need to hire our production team and clip more and put it on Instagram. Like there should be clips of Judge home run, just Judge. There should be a mashup of all 60. You know, the George Springer thing is a great. You see him like Vlad Guerrero gets a walk while Springer's trying to steal the base and he stops and he's about to go to second base, get tagged. He stops and then he like puts his foot on the base and smiles. It's just there are some funny.
There are moments,
but they don't do a good job of promoting them and putting them out there like basketball does. I find myself looking more forward to, I think it's October 18th, I think is when NBA season starts. Looking forward to that. And we will be right in the midst,
World Series and
right in the midst of baseball playoffs. And you almost don't really care. Yeah.
I mean, MLB does have some advantages, like because the game is so slow relative to other sports, you can in-game clip and make like funny stuff that happens and have it up in seconds, right? And when Instagram and all these social platforms started, yeah, you'd only want to post 1 or 2 times a day. You don't now, dude. There's accounts that post like 20 times a day. No one cares. They'll unfollow you. But if you could post like entire like these clips all day long as the games are going on, you could do some stuff. You could get attention. People tune in.
Baseball
like I didn't even know that game was happening.
Really?
That it was so until
I texted
like,
well, look at the ninth inning. Yeah, look at the ninth inning.
And it was already over.
Meanwhile, I woke Ian up. He was asleep for an hour. I'm like, get down here. And I rewound it. He's like, what happened? What happened? I was like, here, watch what happens and I let him watch the whole ninth inning. So what's funny about it is, baseball's not going to be dead, but think about this and gives credence to some of your takes about baseball, right? It's I know basketball has records. I know basketball has lots of stuff that goes on. But right now, this season of baseball is probably one of the least watched seasons. I don't have the numbers, but I'm sure it is just because viewership is down. But they have a historic single-season chase going on. I mean, I think he's on pace for 66 home runs. Who knows what he winds up with, but it's going to be a top 5 single-season accomplishment. And it's an amazing season. Let's not even talk about what Ohtani's doing as an amazing
It might be
season.
overmatched by Ohtani. That's the part.
Aaron Judge is like 2 points off of the American League batting average also, and he leads in home runs and RBIs. He may be the home run leader. He may win the Triple Crown while hitting 60-something home runs. Normally, these power hitters hit in the high 2s. You don't hit 320.
Ohtani's doing something that hasn't been done in like 100 years, though, which is
same thing with Judge.
Equal.
If Judge hits 60 home runs and wins a Triple Crown, it's something that's never been done ever.
What about Bonds?
Bonds didn't win the Triple Crown.
Which is the batting average, too. So it's like batting
average,
everything. RBIs, and home runs.
It means you're hitting. It means you're not going up there just swinging for the fences or striking out. It means, and not to mention, as far as MVP, it's almost an open shut race. Because for the last month and a half, Aaron Judge has basically carried his team to the playoffs himself. He's the only one getting hits. And even I came on here, I had a thing prep, but we just kind of went off on a tangent, never did it. There was a 5-game stretch where he had just hit home runs in like a bunch of games in a row, and then there was a 5-game stretch he didn't hit any home runs. And all the headlines were Aaron Judge hasn't hit a home run in 5 games. Aaron Judge homerless in 5 games. But during those 5 games, he batted like .480, had 2 game-winning RBIs, scored like a bunch of runs, and so I mean like what's amazing is he was having MVP type numbers in that 5-game stretch, just like he has the whole year. But all the headlines were no home run. It's an amazing thing to watch.
Do you miss your red ink auto?
I was thinking about that yesterday, actually, but no, because at the time
you've evolved.
No, at the time I bought it. I had lessons in the hobby to learn about what was going to go up, what the exit opportunities are, and then more importantly, even when there's an exit opportunity, making sure you're in the right card. So while that card, I'm sure, is worth more than what I eventually sold it for, it's not a card that people are looking for. It's not shiny. It's not chrome. It's not his first Bowman auto. It's not his Topps rookie. Like, it doesn't check the boxes that bring the demand.
Do you want to be in a card that an investor buys from you, or do you want to be in a card that a collector buys from you?
I want to be in a card that I can sell for the most money. So it doesn't matter to me if the collector or investor buys it, whichever one's going to pay more.
Which one do you think on that?
It's funny. Normally, I would have said a collector because they're the end user and who's going to want to pay more than somebody keep it. But
I was thinking about this.
Some of the people who are quote unquote investors now are being creative pricing, and they're just paying ridiculous prices too because they just think they're going to be able to create another ridiculous price if it's scarce enough.
I was thinking about that because I'm auctioning off my first one of my homes because I upgraded to a different one of my homes, and I was thinking like, do you want to buy a card that a collector wants in it? That's like the last destination, or do you want a card where you found a good buy, you're selling at the right time, an investor comes in and buys it, and then he or she thinks that they have more upside. And what got me thinking was the people that buy the rookie shield and the rookie prism. Those aren't collectors of those cards, right? Those are investors that are going to then again sell. And in a weird way, those are what sets record numbers, right?
Yeah. But let's take it to the next sentence. You ready for this? And by the way, just to put the bow on it, baseball's not doing a good job. They have this individual season accomplishment of Aaron Judge and a career accomplishment where Albert Pujols is probably going to hit a 700th home run. You have both of those things going on at the same time. It's like LeBron chasing, the scoring title this year, but at the same time, I don't know, Luka was averaging more than 50 points a game or was setting some single season record also at the same time, and yet they're not doing a good enough job of promoting it, I don't think. So back to this. Here's where I go with this. You're right, it sets a record price. So I saw somebody who posts a lot, mostly about fractional and game-worn memorabilia and stuff on Twitter, and he posted something about how what you want to have is an item that's hobby fresh or fresh to the hobby. All right, so let me explain what that means. And it really does dovetail on Iron Sheik and your confusion about comps and creative pricing and, hey, what's a comp? And, hey, once this thing is sold, once I get it for a bargain, then I'm screwing myself out of selling it. And this is one of those really weird conundrums that's going on in the hobby, at least from my perspective it is, right? It's this battle between data and hiding the data. So something that's fresh to the hobby is something that hasn't sold publicly. It doesn't have a price. It's either a Judge ball that's new, right? It has no price because it's a new item and is never sold, right? Or it's the photo matched, Michael Jordan jersey that's never been available for sale before. Nothing like it has ever been done. Or, a bat that's newly acquired, or the SGC 9.5 mantle that, came out of thin air and has all this provenance. All these things are
prism of the quarterback of this year.
It's fresh to the hobby. It's never sold. There's no comp for it. But here's where it gets fun, right? That is the talking points being used by the owner of those items in order to create hype and be able to be creative with their pricing, to be able to set whatever price. It's mine. I'm the only one who has it. I flew to Norway or France, we still don't know which one, and got this one-of-one Messi card, right? I am never going to tell you what I paid, because if that got out there, it's a comp, and I can't ever let anyone know what I paid. If I paid $37,000, I'm still going to make everyone think I paid $1 million. This is the new hobby norm of creative pricing. Why? Because if you don't know what the price is, then you can ask for and possibly get a ridiculous price for the item. But here's where it gets fun. Put yourself in the shoes of the person buying that. Automatically, we're talking about public sales. We're talking about a baseball that's coming off a public auction. We're talking about a Messi card that was in Norway or France. One day we'll find out which one. And all of these items come up like a black one of one, whatever it is. Eventually it sells publicly. And there is a price for it. There's a price established. It's no longer fresh to the hobby that time around. Now, you are someone who's buying that card. You better be a collector who's planning on holding that thing for a while. Why? Because you're now in the exact position that the person who's looking to unload that item on you never wanted to be in. They never want to be tied down to a public price, because then you can't get creative with the pricing on it. The one exception in memorabilia is if you buy a bat or something like that, it gets photo matched after you buy it, and all of a sudden its value explodes because it's now linked to a game or a playoff or something like that. But like use the one of one Herbert. Let's just assume it sold for 1-1 and it's not hobby hanky panky that really sold for 400,000 and someone said 1-1 this way they can sell it to somebody else for 1-2, right? Use 1-1. Okay? Now someone paid 1-1 for it. They paid 1-1 because the person who owned it could be creative. They couldn't say, hey, the last time this sold was 800,000. They could say it's worth 1-1 and someone paid 1-1. Now if that person wants to go and sell it going forward, they need Herbert to be having a monstrous season, which may happen, right? But if that doesn't happen and he's just playing to expectations, you have a much tougher time telling someone that it's worth $2 million, especially tougher than the person before you who was basically making it up out of thin air. This is what I was thinking about with the Iron Sheik. But the difficulty of this is for some reason, the buyer of the card, the first buyer, is too thick to see through this.
Are you saying creative pricing works only once?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because you can't be creative after you're the one that buys it publicly. The person who buys it publicly, are
they putting handcuffs on themselves, basically?
Yes. They're almost driving a new car off the lot, and it loses value as soon as it gets driven off the lot. Because now, in order for it to go up in value, it has to be performance based. If it's a retired player, that's an interesting thing, right? It has to be somebody who's killing it and is doing better than they were doing when you bought it. If not, you've been victim of this yourself. If not, even if you really truly believe you got that Juan Soto at a bargain, even if you really truly believe that Herbert card was purchased for 1.1 and it's a bargain, 9 times out of 10, when you try to sell it to somebody, the first thing they're going to say is, well, you paid 1.1 and you probably overpaid. I'll offer you 800,000.
Right.
Why is that not talked about with the people? Iron Sheik brought up the creative pricing, and I didn't want to really go down a rabbit hole with him, but if we have him back, I'd ask him. But if I were, these creative pricing guys, you basically have to convince somebody to forget everything I just said in the last 5 minutes in order to pay that creative price. You follow me, right?
I do. I'm just thinking in what other areas that happens, and that is the name of our game, because whether we want to use art or wine or watches or cards or memorabilia, there isn't much utility in any of those things. So it's all storytelling. We're all buying at the end of the day for some sort of nostalgia, some sort of story that we want to either portray to our friends or family as to why we bought it. And we think it's a good either store of money or potential upside, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is all in a sense storytelling, because there isn't utility. Like I was thinking, okay, does this happen in real estate? Well, it's not the same. Like you're going in and the utility of the house. There's 3 bedrooms, there's 4 bathrooms, there's a pool. Even though pools apparently don't add value to a house, but the appliances are really nice appliances.
Even houses have prior sales, unless it's new, and if it's a new construction, it probably has a comparable price right next to it. You know what I mean? Like, I guess the difference becomes, right, that with the other asset classes, first of all, they have utility. I mean, I buy wine, you can get drunk. Watches keep me going places on time. But I know what you're talking about.
But most wine that's very expensive isn't to be drunk.
Oh, but I mean,
one thing I don't think we're realizing, and we're going to realize in 10 years, is we say the hobby shouldn't be about X, right? Mm-hmm. But in capitalism, the market dictates whatever the fuck it wants. It doesn't matter what you guys think. And what I mean by that is the hobby was very collector driven from 2000 to 2000, maybe 18. The market decided they wanted to invest more with cards.
Mm-hmm.
So we're seeing this change from collectors to investors, and from collectors to investors, there's storytelling that comes.
Yep.
And that's a shift that we're seeing. Whether people agree or disagree, it's tough. We all have opinions, but that's a shift that we're seeing. Am I accurate with that? Like, you guys told me that the market didn't move the way it did for 18 years.
Yeah.
And now all these investors come in, and with investors come storytelling at CNBC. And this is what I expect from this quarterback, and he's going to do this and this and this. And if he does, my card is worth X.
What's funny is the flip side to my argument, because I try to play these out. It's like chess in my brain, right? So the flip side to it is, think of the cards like companies, but
companies split off cash.
The ones that they don't all split off cash. Think of the card like a company, but these ones we're talking about, the creative pricing, are all private, right? There's no stock for them yet. There's no publicly trading. And people are finding them while they're private. And they're purchasing them private. So why that makes sense is it's not available publicly for a bidding war. You know, you and I were not also on a plane to France, Norway, wherever, to go and be a competing bid. There was no price tag that anybody could pay. There was nothing established. It's a private company that somebody went out and found at what was a perceived bargain to them, but that stays sealed. Like the price for that private deal of how much they paid for this company stays sealed. And then what happens is they take the company public at a price.
Do they cook the books?
The mark, maybe. I mean, they probably are creative with the publicity about what the company is worth and why they were able to buy it, and they don't tell people what they bought it for, and then they take it public. But then when it goes public...
And you got to report your shit?
When it goes public, now it's the public share price and the whole 9 yards, right? I mean, that's the deal. The different part is if then somebody else takes it public, anybody can come in and put a competing offer and the whole 9 yards. So I understand the creative pricing for it and why they have the ability to do it. Those folks who find these fresh to the hobby items, they're like the ones who are finding the private bargains. They're the ones finding the companies that haven't gone public yet, and then they get the benefit of taking them public. So I understand it. It's just one of those things where ultimately, from a card perspective, I don't like being the guy who is being sold that creative item at creative pricing, because once I pay the public price for it, Card Ladder has it. And once Card Ladder
So what you're really saying...
You can shout from the rooftops about what a bargain you got for it, but nobody wants to hear it.
So what you're really saying here is that Shai is Jacques Cousteau.
Or Erling Haaland.
He is a world traveler discovering treasures from the depths of the ocean and bringing them back.
Very possibly. I mean, he found the car that wasn't available for public consumption. He's now able to take it public and name his price, right? I mean, there are people who do this. I guess just be careful if you're the one that's the first public sale and why you're doing it and what you're paying, you know? It's an interesting thing, man. I mean, it doesn't always work out that way, you know. And also remember the information that becomes public. Remember the Mac Jones sold for $100,000, and then all of a sudden it was flipped right for $175,000. I mean, that was private, public.
They added value there, though. I think they graded it. You're not talking about those. Like with a bat that's photo match, that's a value add. That's some person that's buying it probably has some kind of
anyway, it's just something interesting, you know,
able to do that.
And don't get me wrong, guys. Listen, I'm not saying don't ever like set a record price or pay more than the last person paid either. I mean, I own a Jerry Rice and a Joe Montana rookie card that at the time I bought them were the record prices paid for them. But I just was watching a trend and knew they were going to start going up, and they did. So, you know, I'm not saying don't be the person who pays more than the last person.
You know, I mean, I don't know if manipulated is the right word, but let's use the word creative. Do you think the Jordan market is where there's the least creativity?
No, I think with the star thing, people got real creative.
Okay.
They're going to make people creatively poor soon.
What other topics do you have? That's a great place to end. Creatively poor.
No, I mean, I don't want anybody to end poor. I want everybody to end rich. But, you know, I mean, listen, what's on my mind today for value?
We don't know if everyone can end rich because we still haven't cracked the code of are cards a zero-sum game, yes or no? Because if they're a zero-sum game, everyone can't be rich. If they're not a zero-sum game, everyone can be rich.
I mean, no, they're not. But and the right ones are not. We've talked about this. But I guess really what I'm thinking is, and you could I'll give you my 1 minute diatribe where my brain is besides the Yankees and the whole public, you name it, the whole deal was today. And you know, it's based on conversations we've had. Actually, it's if I look at my last 2 years, you know, watching the market go up, down, watching different things evolve, the most important thing for me was being in it. Sort of like the lottery slogan that you have to be in it to win it, right? Being involved, you know, having a ball in the air, you know, like taking a cut at a pitch. Because if you're not, I'm going to use too many friggin' sports cliches, but if you're not in the batter's box, you can't take a hack and hit a home run. You know, if you're just sitting on a bench the whole time, sitting on the sidelines, it's not there. And it's funny because I'll name a couple of things that ultimately will be panned by 90% of people listening. But, you know, we were in cards, and cards kind of took us into like digital Top Shot. And then Top Shot, learning about crypto, took us into, NFTs. And, NFTs, widened the horizon and allowed us to, make cigar nights and be at National and, do all these things and, make connections with other people that then allow deal flow. And we get to meet some people, or I get to talk to different people who are telling me about cards that might be a bargain. And then I'm going back and buying other cards based on this. So what's funny to me is the headlines are all, the market was great in 2020. It wasn't as good in 2021. And it's a crash right now. You know what I mean? It peaked in 2021. But there are plenty of people who are navigating this and making money and doing well and learning and continuing to learn. One of our listeners bought an Aaron Judge card, a Bowman Gold, in July 17th. He bought it, sent me a picture of it. And he messaged me this week. He said, "What would you do with it?" And I said, "Sell it now." I said, "Sell it, flash it into the PWCC auction and sell it this week, right after, as he's chasing or when he's breaking it, the whole deal, before they get knocked out of the playoffs, before his contract negotiation, before like his card, the value of that card is legitimately 2.5 to 3 times what he paid for it on July 17th. So what is that? 2 months, right? So there is a way to navigate this if you make the right play, if you make the right pick and the guy you invest in. I mean, think on September 6th, you and I sat here and talked about Jalen Hurts. And I said, I don't really buy him as a player just yet. I'm pretty sure he's a 500 as a starter. I think he's 10-10 as a starter. Not exactly, setting the world on fire, but I said his season is going to start off really, really hot.
First 9 games.
I said first 9 games, he'll probably go 7-2. And that one of those losses was the Cowboys, and they no longer have Dak Prescott. So they may go 9-0.
So what I'm hearing is
you'd be making money if you listened 2 weeks ago and would have bought Hurts before the season. So you can sell it now.
Listen to Lucas, Tigers, and Bronze. But the thing is, they do listen. Our retention is over. Most of the people listen to 80% of the episode. Over 50% listen to the whole thing. But what's your takeaway here? Is it like be nimble? Is it always be learning? It's to sell at the right time. What will be the takeaway that you want to listen to?
I think it's don't let the negativity override the fact that if you are open to things, there are the right ideas and the right plays out there, right? Because it's very easy to just say you can't make money in cards right now. It's very easy to say everything sucks. Wax is too expensive. I can't do X, Y, and Z. This is crazy. But if you just clear out some of that noise and find something you're good at, look. If you're a fantasy player, you're probably looking at the schedules anyway. And think about the nuance. I'll use the Jalen Hurts just because I'm going to, I'm right. I want to be right. Everybody's posting that picture of Jalen Hurts this week, right? So I might as well say how right we were on our show about this, because that's not a difficult call. He doesn't even have to play well. The last quarterback who had 300 yards rushing, 300 yards passing, and 2 rushing touchdowns in a game? Do you know who it was? Michael Vick. Anybody buying Michael Vick cards anymore? You know what I mean? But that's
who Hurts reminds me of? He reminds me of McNabb.
A little, but no one's buying McNabb cards. And you know what? I'm not telling you to buy Jalen Hurts for the year, for the career, for anything. I was just saying, if you look at his schedule, he's going to be a runaway to win the division this year. And his first 9 games are much easier than the second half of the season when he plays some legit teams and might lose. But you don't have to hold it. You could probably have doubled your money. And look, he's playing the Jags and the Commanders. He's going to go 4-0, 5-0. Watch what happens with his cards. It's going to be, it's going to be crazy. If you were to just block out all the crap, hey, open these boxes. Hey, break with these guys. Hey, is that jizz or a fingerprint on that card? If you just block out all that crap and think, all right, let's look at the schedule here. You know what I mean? Let's figure out what's going on.
Eastern European
jizz. No, that's cinnamon roll. Cinnamon roll.
I'm rewatching Entourage. Entourage is like my guilty. Ari's hilarious. Jeremy Piven is. I got it. Top 5 actor.
Smoking Aces, right? So that was his people. He was playing.
Alicia Keys. Why they have so many like pop stars in that movie?
Common was in that.
What are they doing? It was so weird.
So anyway,
the shootout in the hotel lobby.
Insane.
Jesus, those are blood.
Oh, Ryan Reynolds, right? Ryan Reynolds is in it. Like, so many people in that movie.
My metric for a healthy marketplace is not if it goes up and down. Up and down is fine. That's what it is. Activity is action, right? When the action leaves, that's when you should be worried. If I could be, that's my opinion. When the action leaves, right? There's always going to be players going up, players going down.
Okay.
Sometimes go ahead.
Now you forced me to do it, but the right action. the right action. And I'm going to call out there.
You guys add these ambiguous adjectives.
I'm going to say there, be better, right? Do not use your platform, which you've built up credibly, and you've built a brand, you've built a name, to go out there and pump Chronicles as an end-all, be-all product to break. Be better. Don't talk about how hot Chronicles is because you want to get people to break it. Chronicles is something that shouldn't be opened by anyone unless they're waiting online at Target and want to put something in their cart to put in their kid's stocking. Literally, that product you should have an age limit on that. It shouldn't be opened by anybody over the age of 12.
So, Cage, we I think get caught up in terms. So I bet if you like lined people up, like people that have vlogs, people that are breakers, podcasts, they'll call everybody an influencer, right? Mm-hmm. But in reality, we conflate terms, right? We think anybody with influence is an influencer. But influencers, the way that I think the market generally talks about it, is salespeople. They're like, stop selling X product, you're an influencer, stop, right? Or at least disclose why you're selling them, right?
We hide behind ours.
Just wait. Just let me talk.
Okay.
These guys are influencers. They have to sell their product. They need to break that. They need to sell that to the marketplace. They're salespeople. And we get mad at salespeople for selling, but that's what they do. So I don't understand that. And this is why I never thought of us as an influencer, because I never feel like we have anything to sell our audience. We have sponsors that pay the bills so that we are able to run the network. That's for sure. But we don't have, hey, you need to buy Chronicles or buy this product off of me. I've always felt that true to my heart, but I think both are good and both are healthy.
Yeah, but you have to still remain credible and reasonable. People are going to buy Chronicles, and 90% of the people are going to be losing money. 98% of the people are going to be losing money. So Chronicles, first of all, I can't even believe Chronicles is a breaking product, right? But Chronicles,
everything is a breaking product.
Yeah, and that's going to change. That's going to change. Remember, who do we have on?
Says you.
It'll change.
Fine, but my point is, why would you not want a breaker to sell their product? That's what they're meant to do.
No, you can sell it, but there's a
weird
limit.
If we were selling Chronicles and people on the other end would be like, why are they pumping Chronicles? There should be.
So if you had Chronicles here and you were selling it, please tell me what you would say. Tell me how you would sell it.
We had a meeting, guys, August of 2021, right before National. Mm-hmm. It was with a company that is now extinct, and they wanted us to come on their new platform and break. And we had 3 different calls with them where it was the same thing. And I was just like, that's not what we do. It felt weird. It felt icky.
If you were breaking.
But I couldn't do it,
dude,
because it wasn't true to my core.
Let's just say
and it wasn't what I wanted our business to be about.
Okay. There are breakers out there.
Show product that I didn't believe in.
Fine. 100% agreed. I don't want to break. You don't want to break. That's not the point. There are breakers out there. Let's just pretend for a second that we're talking about only breakers, not people who make a podcast who don't want to break. We're talking about only breakers. Within that breaking community, there are different ways of selling, if that's the word you want to use, right? There's different ways of selling, right? Just like there are different types of car salespeople.
I think they're financial advisors. Okay. There's Stratton Oakmont, there's Merrill Lynch, there's Morgan Stanley. There's different styles. And some are like Stratton Oakmont. Like, I have this stock that's going to blow your socks off.
Yeah, it's called
They've just developed a patent that's going to put them on the moon. And I got some inside knowledge. In 3 months, this thing is going live, and I'm letting you get
Chronicles is going to be great. It's the first
time Chronicles with the Blaze.
The first time they put the noir in it.
We pull fire.
The thing is,
want to get it on the ground floor? How was that? That was not bad.
That was great.
You like my? No, but you see how I lowered
understand what I'm saying, right? Like, there are some people who will break Chronicles, and that's fine. Go ahead and break it. If there's a market for it, break it. But be honest with what it's about. I mean, and the funny thing is that the same people are out there, pumping up Chronicles. So the last one I saw was, yes, you said Blaze. I think it was an S-Blaze. You can come on the show, S-Blaze, and talk about Chronicles and why it is the hottest.
We're going to have the little bro on.
We could have C Blez, we could have D Blez, we could have L Blez, whatever Blez there is. You have on.
Like, Cage, like sometimes you got to be a car salesman for Kia before you could be a car salesman for Benz before
That's
you could be a
not
car
it.
salesman.
Kias are fine too. I'm not going out there saying I like to sell Kia because
By the way,
Kia
remember that
flies
compliment
to
you
the
got?
moon. You
Remember
know,
you got that compliment driving my Kia in Atlantic City?
Yes. I mean, something wrong with Kia. But the point is, when you sell Kia, you should say that you're selling Kia. Obviously, you make it sound good. You're a salesperson, but don't say Kia is the hottest product. Don't say Kia is the hottest thing that's out there.
No.
I mean, you're setting unreasonable expectations for your own customers. I don't get that.
A lot of young salespeople sell the moon. They sell the dream. That's sales. Like you're gonna love this product. When you take it home, everyone's gonna look at you. Is it true? Probably not.
All right. Well, listen, as long as we got that fact out there. Listen,
and I don't think it's okay. I just think it's a part of human nature. Like I think we fight human nature so much with our idealistic ways in today's society. And I understand idealism to an extent, but like we act like we were perfect when we were kids, and that these kids, the way they're doing it is so imperfect, it has to be idealistic.
I've been at
shows that same shit
where people show up with their Zion cases, and at first you think you have that burrow that the dealer is going to want, and then the dealer looks at it and says, "Oh, this is Chronicles," and then I'll watch that same person go over to the room where they're doing trades, and another kid will be looking at it and say, "Oh, wow, oh no, it's Chronicles." Yeah, Chronicles. No, I don't want that.
Curry Chronicles Gold, $45.
Exactly, a gold, $45. So
yeah.
Here's the fun, right?
But now I hurt myself. I'm going to sell this on the Whatnot show. I'm going to ask for 55. They're going to be
the product.
Andrew, I watch every episode. You just said 45. 35.
Yeah, that's it. You should have been
creative pricing.
You should have been much more creative. God, listen, I have no problem with breakers. I have no problem with the market creating and dictating what it is. The thing is, and I guess this is why I bring it up is, I mean, the people you're selling to, I would hope you'd want to have as repeat customers. And the more puffery you throw into your sales tactics, I believe the less likely you are to have a repeat customer.
Yeah, because you're building a repeat customer business. Not everyone builds repeat customer businesses. Some people build volume businesses. Why are gas stations such shitty customer service, Cage? Especially the ones near the highways.
Because they don't need repeat business. They're just going to continue to get the business. I get it, man.
But I'm going to come in. You are so rude,
I feel bad for those because, I mean...
For the gas station who's raking in cash?
Yeah, because they have, obviously people steal the bathroom key. Because, I'm walking around with, a cinder block.
Dude, those bathrooms, shocking. If you're worried about overselling Chronicles, let's start right there.
Just so everybody knows, my LCS offered me Chronicles at I think $200 a box, and I passed on it. So I don't know what the hell.
And then he threw it back at him.
I don't know what it's selling for, but I passed. I'm not opening it. I said, all right, thanks. This isn't even good enough for Ian. I'll go buy a blaster of something for him.
I just don't like that they threw in, it's like they just threw in everything into it, you know?
That's what they do. That's what the Chronicles thing is. But
this is good, this is good, this is good. That's all put it in.
It's pretend. I mean, Chronicles, I'm going to give you a company comparison. Chronicles is BCCG. That's what Chronicles is. It's BCCG.
So thank you all for listening to another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronzo Mai. I wanted to tell you about a new service that we have starting as of today, and I'm really, really excited to bring it to you guys. So as a part of our partnership with SGC, we got 50 free submissions every single month, and many of you have taken advantage of that. And it's amazing that we could have the opportunity to 650 episodes, 675 episodes in, to go ahead and give back to our community. As people were sending those cards in, they asked, can we send 5, 10, 20 more cards to you guys? We'll pay for it, but we wanted them graded with SGC. You guys know SGC is turning cards around in 13 to 14 business days, have incredible customer service, and their secondary market values are going up day after day after day. And that's exciting for the hobby and exciting for the grading landscape. So we didn't want to just rush into it. We wanted to do it right. And what we did was I relocated here to Boca Raton, Florida. I opened up a P.O. box maybe 5 minutes away from SGC, and I will be hand delivering and hand picking up the cards. So you don't have to worry about anyone else touching your cards. It will be me and I will update you every step of the way. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to personally pick up the cards from a P.O. box, prep them, new card saver, new penny sleeve, and deliver them to SGC every single Tuesday. Why Tuesday? Well, it lets the stragglers over the weekend come back through on Monday and gives me a day to prep, and it basically gives SGC the entire week to work on grading those cards. Once your cards pop, only then at the end of the process will you be paying for the service. It's $25 per card. Simple as that. And the turnaround times have never been faster. We're hearing right now 13, 14, less than 20 business days. So there it is. 9170 Glades Road. Number 135 is the P.O. Box in Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. 9170 Glades Road. Number 135, Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. Of course, you could shoot me an email or shoot me a text anytime, and I'm always available. Many of you already have my email. It's iamandrewgoldberg@gmail.com, or my cell phone number, 215-519-9154. Reach out with any questions. I could walk you through the process. I've hopped on the call with quite a few of you, and I'm happy to do that. Love you, Luca Nation.